Deloitte presents Booth Secrets.
Sometimes I think about giving up this whole dean thing and just opening a bed and breakfast.
Sometimes after a morning class, I'll see them setting up for an event with free box lunches, and I'll sneak back into the room and steal one. Oh, I can afford to buy my own lunch at the Goler Cafe. It's just that I really like stealing.
Maybe I could get into CrossFit. Or I could do scrapbooking.
So this is embarrassing, but the truth is David Booth is a fictional character. He doesn't exist. We just made him up.
I always wanted to write children's books. Maybe there's still time.
It was supposed to be an April Fool's joke, and it got out of hand.
Students aren't allowed on the 5th floor of Harper Center, so we're not supposed to talk about what's up here. So I probably shouldn't say this, but it's a giant old-time video arcade. Pac-Man, Space Invaders.
If you're wondering where the teaching assistants come from, the majority of them are former MBA students. Those that couldn't get a job. We figure it pads the employment numbers, makes us look better. The only problem is, they never, ever leave.
Ms. Pac-Man, Tempest, Elevator Action.
What if my last name was Dean? Would they call me Dean? Isn't there a Dean already? That's interesting.
NBA Jam, Golden Tee Golf, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Xevious.
Do they have that old Star Wars game where you sit in it and you get to blow up the Death Star?
We have 2 of those.
Shit.
Sometimes I wait around after class just to see if the students leave anything behind. And if they do, I take it.
It's awesome. It's the only reason I work here.
I don't know how many times I've asked myself, what would Ryan Lochte do?
That's how I got this iPhone. I've got like 10 of these things.
If you're a man at night, you gotta be a man in the morning.
You know, it'd be great if somebody left an iPhone 5.
I really think maybe the Booth students should pay a little more attention to role models like Ryan Lochte.
I like my job. Teaching, research, grading's even fine. One thing around here I can't stand, American accents. Can you change my grade, please? Where are the bathrooms? Drives me mad.
So we actually filmed Faculty Harlem Shake, but Sunil couldn't get the footage off the camera.
Sometimes in class, a student will answer a question and I'll say, interesting point. You gave the correct answer, but to the wrong question. The question you answered is, what's the stupidest thing that I can possibly say?
The chalk site records whether you've clicked on the reading or not. How else do you think I know who I'm going to cold call?
When I came here 3 years ago, I had a full head of hair.
Last quarter, I collected all the final exams to hand off to the TA to grade, and then I just lost them all. Never saw those things again. I just gave everyone a B+. No one ever noticed.
I mean, it was thick, lustrous. Sometimes I'd even get those little highlights on the sides. Everybody loved it.
I tell myself that doing this professor thing is just something to do until my musical career takes place. But you know, now I'm beginning to wonder whether that's actually ever going to happen.
So I've been doing some research on Barbies recently, and the research has gotten some attention. And it's been great for me because I've been able to make use of the obscenely large collection of Barbie dolls that I've collected since I was a child.
The Littlefield simulation is interesting. It's not actually a simulation. We use the students as free labour and get a nice fat consulting fee from the Littlefield plan. So it's win-win, except perhaps for the students. But they learn something. Probably.
Did Parker tell you about the Littlefield simulation? That's not good. I'm going to need your footage.
Sometimes when I'm giving a lecture, I get really bored and I just start making stuff up. I'll start saying things that make no sense just to see if anyone's paying attention. No one ever notices. They just write it down.
No one's ever beaten Sunil at Mortal Kombat 2, and I don't think anyone ever will. Maybe that's why he's Dean.
So I spent hours and hours on the Dean search committee. One thing I'll tell you about Sunil, terrific at Mortal Kombat. Some of the old guys didn't even know what it was.
I tried playing Sunil Kumar in Mortal Kombat 2. He kicked my ass.
The most terrifying thing I have ever seen in my life is the look in Sunil Kumar's eyes when I challenge him to a game of Mortal Kombat 2.
Jesus. Sunil kicked my ass again in Mortal Kombat 2. I've tried Johnny Cage, I've tried Sub-Zero, I even tried that trick my brother showed me. I'm never gonna be Dean.
No one's beaten me at Mortal Kombat 2. That's why I'm the Dean.
You know, I don't understand this thing about Mortal Kombat 2. You know, in my days, we used arm wrestling.